Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Turgon the Wise, aka Turukano, if you're into the Quenya, coming at you with a new video today. This is Season 16 update, and today is Tuesday, the 11th of September, 2024. We have reached the 3 week point of our season as of 5 hours and 36 minutes ago. And this is actually a pretty spicy season, I gotta say, and I would uh, hope that others around the server are inclined to agree. It's kind of interesting to kind of see the tides and the flow of war and morale kind of slide this way and that. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk you through what's been happening since the last video. If you have any questions about what's transpired prior to 2 weeks into the season, I think my last video was like last Wednesday or Thursday, maybe. So I talked you through kind of where we were, and a lot has happened since then. So I want to make sure, that I got a video out this week. This season is extremely intense, so it doesn't leave a lot of time to do things like this. And as you can see from the screen here, there's been a lot of fighting, already over 3 million merit on this account, and it's a doozy of an account. And the changes that recently have came through, I think are going to make things even more interesting the rest of the way. So you have a good look there at how I'm doing in terms of the merit. Let's go to the map, to the map, to the map, and look at all of these pins. It's pretty wild. Not going to lie. Um, so we have captured southern Anduin Vale over here. And as you can see, there is a tremendous amount of activity in the core regions per usual. I like to go programmatically from left to right across the map because I'm an American and I speak English and like typewriters left to right. Yeah, I said typewriter. I'm old. So out here in the west, we have Aped and Coombe and Luna kind of doing their thing out here. And there's even a little bit of fighting here between Luna and Order, which is interesting. I did not notice this until now, so that's news to me. So it looks like there's some fighting happening out here. And then in the center of the map, over in the Gap of Rohan, we have 14 million participants fighting between the gods Neon and Theo. And then over here we have God's Isle Order Utes, almost 17 million participants, 6.6 million deaths here at the crossing from Lorien into the Undeeps. And in Amon Lanc, we have another 3.5 million participants, 1.2 million deaths, Utes Order Isle Gods, and that is, I assume, the crossing between Karas, Galadon, and Amon Lanc. We have a small pin here in Lorien itself. And then up here, we start getting into some more big pins. Utes, RUSC, LCDR, the crossing from southern Anduin Vale into, I think this is Karas as well, but it may actually be whatever this region is here. Yeah, Celebrant. So that's that pin, another 6 million up here. Now over here, for some reason, we've got LCDR, Boldomi, and RUSC fighting. I assume this is just to level commanders. This is friendly PvP of some sorts, but it's a fairly significant amount of participants and deaths. Either that or they're just bored fighting us and feel like fighting each other. I don't know. That doesn't seem to make any sense considering the coalition that they all have against us. So it's probably far more likely that they're just using this as an exercise to level their commanders so they can increase their effectiveness when fighting us. And then over here at the southern Anduin Vale pass between Southern Indian Vale and Mirkwood, we've got Utes, Buldome, or Dome, 7.3 million participants, 2.5 million deaths. So a lot of red pins in the center. One, two, three, four, five, six red pins in the center. And then, of course, we've got this one red pin out here in the Eastern Wastes, 4.8 million deaths, 13.8 million participants. Utes, HISP, free gods. And we lost the pass out here yesterday. And so kudos to our opponents for all of the things that they did to enable that. They really are honestly probably the best Tylers as a team I've seen in quite a while. I know Ilil and Order are also excellent Tylers, but to be honest, I haven't been fighting on that front so much, so I don't get a front row seat as to their activity. I can't speak towards it. I just know from secondhand and hearing about them from other players, either in this season or from past seasons, that they're also extremely active and amazing Tylers. But I got to say, HISP, their tile game is it's the best aspect of their game. They're phenomenal tilers. It's like fighting the Zerg out here. If anyone watching this is familiar with StarCraft, you'll know what I'm talking about there. It's almost like Protoss versus Zerg out here in the Eastern Wastes. So it's a big mess. It's crazy. It's a lot of action across the map. It's a lot of fun. Kudos to our opponents. They're doing a nice job. Um, a couple of things that they're doing. It seems like, you know, they're good at kind of creating this impression that like they give up, but then they don't. They back off. They maybe to level or to fill their barracks or to prepare themselves, and then yesterday we faced a massive multi-front engagement. There was fighting over here. There was a fortress over by this pass from Ashen Plains into Gorgoroth, and I was able to kill that with the help of a couple people, and then the action started out here early, and then once that started to taper off, or in the midst of that, we started getting hit from two fronts up here, all at the same time, and then after this calmed down a few hours later, they came back and they attacked again, and they were able to push through the pass into the Eastern Wastes. So our back door is open, and the fighting out there is intense and contentious, and we have ourselves a very competitive season out here. For those who have been kind of critical of the season, there's something to be said. Like people being like, well, of course the top two teams are going to steamroll the server. It is not like that at all on this server. I think that, granted, yeah, we're the top two teams in terms of production. The 2.3 and the 2.0, that's 4.3 million production. Let's look at what we're going up against. So let me just pull out my trusty calculator here, because math is not my strong suit. So we got 1.8 ILIL plus 1.4 bull plus 1.3 HISP plus 1.3 neon plus 1.2 order plus 1.2 LCDR plus 1.1 free plus 1 million Theo plus 1 million RUSC plus 0.981 Domi. Is that it? I think for now that's it. But you look at the top two teams and say, oh yeah, look at the 4.3 million they have. We're going up against almost 3 times the amount of production. So just wanted to call that out and put that into perspective. Sure, you look across the merit on the leaderboard and you see Yudes and Gods and you go, wow, what a huge wall of whales and krakens they have. But when you look at the reality of the situation, we are facing, hold on, how many teams is this? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. We're facing 10 teams. That's 1,000 available bodies to attack us from a multitude of places. So it's not easy. Like I said in previous videos, it's not easy, but it is intense and it is fun. And I hope that everyone in this season is enjoying themselves on some level. I know, based upon what I'm hearing, folks on the other side maybe aren't having as much fun because it's not fun fighting krakens and whales. But I think it's a valuable lesson for these smaller teams to be able to face bigger teams like us. You're learning, you're growing, you're coordinating, you're getting better, you're getting stronger, you're leveraging your strengths, you're strengthening your weaknesses. And I think it's an exciting season. And I hope that, yesterday serves as an example for those folks out west. Like, with the right strategy and execution, anything is possible in this game, even when you're facing very, very strong teams like Yudes and Gods. So I tip my cap to our opponents for the work that they've done. And yeah, we have ourselves, a good one here. It's definitely spicy. And yeah, there's a lot of merit to go around. The contribution is insane on our side. I mean, we are 3 weeks into the season, and we already have multiple people with well over 3 million, 2 million merit. Lots of folks, as I scroll down the list, like just absolutely amazing, amazing players across the board. Stellar activity from both of our teams and from our opponents. This is arguably the most active server I have seen in a very long time. Honestly, this is hearkening me back to my 8th season days playing War of the Ring as evil with 2.5 to 3 full war bands, you know, f- down here fighting across Middle Earth, facing something like 6 to 7 full or mostly full fellowships. This actually might be bigger than that, considering the numbers. Um, so it's crazy. I mean, the last season we had 6 very good teams on our server, so that's about 600 active players, and there was a couple hundred other active players around the server. So not quite 1,000, I would say, active players on that server. And the season before that, we had, of course, as I've talked about many times, that epic season with Meta Chaos, Yude's Gods, Lame Pran, and Ilil Order. But that's 800 players, and there really wasn't anyone else on that server than the 8 teams I just mentioned. There was a few stragglers here and there, but they didn't really have much of an impact or do much of anything that season. So I don't really. I guess maybe 1,000 active players on that server, but on this server we see clearly one side of the map has 1,000 active players. Between the green, rust, pink, blue, and magenta here. They're all fighting against us. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 against these two. So that's 1,000 versus 200. And then out here we have another handful of smaller teams fighting. They're not all, I don't think, full or 100 players. So let's say it's like 150 people out here between these two various shades of purple going at it out here. So you're looking across the board a server that's got approximately, you know, 1,400 active players. This is the biggest server I've seen in a long time. Maybe even, I mentioned season 8, but after thinking about it and talking through it, this actually might be the biggest server I've seen since my fifth season when I played Tactics Evolved out in Erebor, and it was 3 fellowships per faction out there. We had three full fellowships in Erebor. There was, I think, 2 or 3 full factions in Rohan, 2 or 3 full factions in uh, Lothlorien and Arnor, and it was just a mad season. I think that season may have had, all in all, 2,000 players. But I mean, that is well over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago now. So absolutely bonkers season. I'm enjoying it, and I hope everyone else is too. Let's take a look real quick, because I don't usually do videos from this account anymore. I like to play. I've been predominantly been playing my other account, Azurus the Wise, but on Turcano the Wise, this account is monstrous, as the 3.1 million merit after 3 weeks indicates. I mean, that's an average of a million merit per week, which is pretty brutal. So I just want to share kind of a couple of reports to see, show, what we're doing these days. We just switched back to the small unit build. Uh, we tinkered with the cavalry build, and it's strong, but you know, it definitely the cost is not good, for and the amount of time that it takes to conscript the units, it's too long. And so we've also split up the meta formation. So I'm not running Dane, Sauron, Gandalf the White, and Beorn anymore. In the top formation, we're doing Dane and Gimli as our damage dealers. We get the White Council from Gandalf the Grey, and we continue using Sauron as the speed tank. So take a look at here at the Gandalf. We're running the 4-piece divide and conquer set, so he gets progressively more difficult to kill as the battle goes on. Of course, the White Council maxed out. You got the heal that helps preserve soldiers, and then we have some wizard here, so we reduce the target's defense for a round. And then in terms of the defense, 27 defense from Liang, 15 defense there, so that's 42. We've got some focus going on here to amplify the White Council and the focus and defense here as well. So that boosts me up. The unit defense gets boosted by about 60. There's no focus on this, but there is a lot of focus. There's 24 focus here, there's 48 focus there, and there's 15 focus here. So 163, it's not the sexiest number for focus you're going to see, but it's definitely impactful. And I think that this is working out pretty well. As you're looking at this report here, especially, let's take a look at the Gimli real quick here. Also running the divide and conquer set. He's got 60 intellect, or whatever this is called here, focus. So he's leveraging the keen eye from Balin's axe, his relic. And then we've got some extra troop defense here from the high elf hauberk. You get attack from the blazing tongue. You get attack from the cask of pride, and you get attack from the palantir of Orthanc. All of them maxed out. This is the way to go. This is with the build. I keep seeing other Gimlis where people aren't maxing out the R5, and I think that's silly. But to each their own. I guess they're thinking that the 100 and whatever this ends up being. So it's 60, 80, 100. So probably about 200, 220 is max level for experienced warrior. Whereas here You also get 220, and it's also doing damage to two formations. But I think that uh, having healing effects and and lowering defense for 2 rounds is more impactful than the commander attack +5, and we're still reaping the benefit of this at level 5. So that's our preference, and I think that it's working out pretty good. But just overall, Gimli is not as strong of a commander in terms of the damage output as a Dane or a Bayorn. So I'll show you the Dane in case anyone's unfamiliar with it. We're not running any best in slot really attack DD gear other than the Cask of Pride here. So the second best is the Black Bow. Um, it does very well. And then also we're running High Elf Halberd for the defense to make his troops a little beefier. And then the Drums of Barad-dûr, which is also considered the second best accessory for damage dealing commanders. And then we've got our relic here, which has been upgraded. I'm sorry, not upgraded. It's maxed out from upgrades, but it's 2.5% relentless vigor. This is huge, and this costs mithril. This has been refined to level 4. And Dane at Z11 with this gear, and now the damage perseverance 2% for the 4-piece set. He's pretty strong. And having these three maxed out is very nice. Getting that extra, getting the stun is huge. No HP recovery, huge. Durin's blood, you gotta have it. I keep seeing people fight without King Under the Mountain maxed out. It blows my mind. So just trying to give some folks who may be watching this across the server some tips and tricks here, some common best practices for using their commanders, and then also having a Z9 Sauron is it's so cushy. I love this commander. 46 speed plus you get now 12 for the 4-piece agility bonus, so that's going to boost him up to 58, which is very fast. The only folks who are going to be faster than my Sauron are going to be folks who have all of the best uh, initiative gear. So I get 6 from this piece, I get 6 from this piece, I don't get any from this, so that's an opportunity to improve my speed that I'm not taking. And then I get 6 from this. So there may be folks who have a speedy helmet on there plus the 4-piece agility set bonus that can squeeze out a little bit more speed. Otherwise, the only folks who have more speed than me are the folks who are running 1.0 gear, which means they're not leveraging the set bonus at all. So that's my Sauron, and having these maxed out is phenomenal. From a skill perspective, you got to have the Deceiver and you got to have the R5 maxed out on him. They're tremendously impactful maxed out. But you also want to have at least 1 point in these other skills, Lord of the Gifts to inflict madness and Gorthar to inflict stun. And then I'm just maxing this out to do a little bit more damage with him. So from a tankiness perspective, he's got the speed, but he also has some tankiness to him. There's no defense on the spear, but you get defense from the explorer's outfit. There's 15 unit defense, 48 unit defense, 63 total, plus another 24 from the Miros reins. So what did I say? 63 plus 24, that's 87. So even though he might not be the fastest and he might not be the tankiest, he's a really, really nice hybrid of both. And it's quite impactful. Let's take a look at this guy real quick just so you can see what my opponent's running. The gear, you can see the result and you can see the disparity, and I can understand why players like this are like, damn, like I have no hope against these other guys. But it's not one on one. We're not doing any one on one. It's 10 versus 2. So the strength is in numbers, and you can see they're definitely launching an enormous amount of attacks. Here's another RUSC player, Kurgan. Also, one other thing I'd like to call out here is just, obviously level 48s and 45s versus 41s, it's going to be a lopsided battle. I'm not quite sure if I agree with the units here. Using all of Morgul Arbalests is not going to be impactful against these kind of, with the Guardians are going to be tough against the ranged units. Over here, Karrigan, he's using small units, and this unit composition makes a lot more sense to me, especially because the Zerkers have stun immunity, which is huge, especially for Sauron, and you get the bloodline from this. He's got the woodsman here. They have some level of evasion, which is nice. Let's take a look at his gear. This guy is definitely a lot better than the guy we were just looking at, and you can see he's leveraging the new two-piece bonus for divide and conquer. That's got to be impactful for him, plus the two-piece bonus for perseverance. And I agree with his skill build here for pursuer and Uruk-hai firstborn. That's the way to go, and then you dump your remaining points in Uruk-hai elite. So well done, sir. His Sauron's looking like pretty good. Just need to upgrade these purples into golds, which obviously is just a luck thing or a cash thing, or both, depending on how you want to look at it. He's got the two-piece set bonus for the speed, so he's getting +5, so that 35 becomes 40 for Sauron, and the 18 becomes 23 for his Zerkers. Not bad, but your skill build, sir, well, you're only R3, so that makes sense why you don't have the R5. He needs to get this to R5 so he can start using the enemy. That is going to be huge at lowering the effectiveness of my DD comms, which you can see both of my DD comms just absolutely hammered this guy. So that's an area of opportunity for you, and continue working on it and developing. Karrigan, you got the right idea. You got some solid commanders here. You got a good set bonus here using the sharp blade to increase your formation attack by 24. So that's good. And you've got a good amount of commander damage here. You got the right gold pieces on him. Although I would be tempted maybe to put those on. I think that honestly, well, he's got them here anyway. Okay, never mind. But these are 4-star, and then you've got the 5-star. Uh, mm, I would be tempted to switch these. I don't know. It's a tough call. That's a gut call. So, um, all in all, solid build. He's got command here. He's got 206 focus. He's got the White Council. He's not R5, so he can't leverage the R5 here. So, all in all, his builds are solid, and just got taken out by a more leveled, stronger opponent. Let's scroll down and look at some other. So this is just Ilil taking my tiles. Do 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 do. This is actually kind of an interesting report here between my third formation, which we're using Frodo as a tank, and he's using a 4-piece fortitude, so that reduces the damage received by his formation by 12%, which is obviously significant. Uh, we use the Burkwood bow probably for the command. 314 command on Frodo with all purple gear is pretty good. Unit defense plus 18, unit defense plus 18, and unit defense plus 18. So 18 times 3, that's going to be 54. That's the best you're going to get out of him. And then you want to leverage the Master of Bag End. This is impactful. And the Ring Bearers, that is impactful. The Harfoots helps him move along. It's great so that he can maybe tile a little bit more quicker. In terms of actual fighting, this will probably be a better way to go, but it's a third unit. It's a third, formation. And then over here, we're using Galadriel for some extra healing. And she gets some defense here from the Durin's plate. She's leveraging the two-piece fortitude set. This gives her some command, a little bit of unit defense, some focus for her, and more unit defense on the Silver Harp. This is just leftover pieces. We're using Scholar to do a little bit of healing here, more healing. So she's just being used as a Healy second tank unit. And then the damage comms are going to be Aragorn 2, King of Men. So using the Might here and the Fortitude. You can see the skill builds. This is Probably the way to go with him. Although I might be tempted to put probably 1 point in there is not really going to do a whole lot. So it doesn't really make too much of a difference. But you can see he did some pretty good damage here versus this, you know, this ILO. I mean, I'm countered here because I'm using all small units. He's using, well, a combination of medium and small units. So the medium units counter my small units, but the small units are all even Steven. And then the Skullhelm, I'm using 3 pieces of Perseverance here, and this is just for the focus and the commander attack, so you can get a little bit more juice out of the squeeze. It's not a bad third unit. And then the opponent here, I mean, this is obviously not his first unit either, so it's probably a battle of the second or third units here, which is it's an interesting report to showcase here on YouTube. See if I can find any more fun stuff. Let's check out. I see this guy all the time. I don't know how to speak Russian, so I don't know how to pronounce that word, so I'm not going to try and butcher it. He's a little bit more leveled, and let's check out his Sauron here. Yep, this is basically the gist of it. Almost R5, so then you'll be able to leverage that. That'll be huge for reducing the effectiveness of my DD comms. R4 here also for Saruman. He's got the right idea with the many colors and voice. And also, you know, good gear here, all focus gear, focus initiative, focus defense, focus initiative, unit defense, and focus. So he's got the right idea here on Saruman, who outperformed pretty much everyone here other than Shadow. Let's take a look at Shadow. Yeah, he's got the War Cry 4-piece set bonus. So first 3 rounds, he's doing an additional 24% damage. That's significant. And he's got the reach. He's got the Palantir. It's not maxed out, but even 4 stars is effective. It's good. So strong formation here by this guy. 2-piece bonus now on the sharp blade after the update. So it's looking solid. Looking really good. And then yeah, not a whole lot else really to show. I don't think. Um, I put in some work last night taking out a fellowship fortress with my main. So not a whole heck of a lot else to show. Let's go back here. This is back when I was using the cavalry build, and it's definitely a strong build, but I don't think it's really, worth all of the resources and time to build these units. So we've moved away from them today. But this is how I built it. You put the tanky swans on your tanky fast Sauron. The cataphracts, tanky man unit for Gandalf, and Gimli gets, of course, the rams, and Dane gets Shire ponies, so that then he gets touched last pretty much every fight, and it was very effective, especially in this particular fight. But I just want to see if I can find any reports from my second formation here with Radagast, because I really love this commander in the current meta. He's not considered a meta commander, but I think the way that we utilize him um, definitely makes him very usable and unique and helpful. So let's see if I can find a report here. Come on. So I got a little overwhelmed. I think this ought to be an interesting report. Let's start kind of I want to look at him when he's fresh. Where is he? maybe I'm not fresh. I guess this is as fresh as it's going to get. So here we're using the Gandalf the White and Beorn along with Radagast and Lurtz. So there's our two damage dealers, our support, and our tank. You can see the tank unit on the tank here. Radagast, let's take a look at him real quick here. So loaded up with defense, focus, initiative, defense, and more defense. So 24 defense, 15 defense, that's 39. No defense from this for the army. 39 and 45. So that's going to get me about 84 unit defense. Plus, this is going to increase his healing, the focus from the chest. He's got two pieces speed, so 60 speed on top of the agility bonus of 5, so that's 65 speed. You can see the Swan Knight defense 154 from all the defense that we boosted. So he is and a 538 command. So don't forget how important the command stat can be for your tanks. It reduces the commander's damage received by the commander's formation by 35%. That's huge. Okay? That's huge. In terms of like the heals, you might be wondering how much heals. Well, he did 25,000 heals this battle, which is significant. You can see I lost very, very little, and he lost everything. Granted, there is also, again, a level disparity, 40s and 42 versus 45s and 47. So very big level disparity that makes a huge impact as well. Uh, let's take a look here at Gandalf the White. So again, fortitude, speed, it's a great combination. The R5 and the R3, White Council. He's very, very fast, 54 speed plus another 5 from that. So it gets him up to 59. And the tankiness also is very helpful from the fortitude set. And then you've got the White here. Looking forward to getting this final point in here, so he gets a 25% chance for stun. That is extremely helpful. Lurtz running the two-piece fortitude, two-piece might bonus. There's nothing really particularly fancy or special worth noting here, but it's very strong, but not as strong as this gentleman. This is nasty with the fortitude and the speed also. So his speed is 49. He goes very, very early in the round. Plus the maxed out axe and Palantir. So you can see he did a whole lot of damage here. And with the Shire ponies, you're not going to get to him very quickly in the battle. So you can see the second formation is also being very, very effective. So if you're wondering how on earth I have 3 million merit, not prestige. I'm just going to go ahead and put this point. At this point, my ring is pretty much done. I have everything maxed out from the resource side, from the expansion side, all-purpose side. That's all maxed out. Everything that I need in growth is maxed out. I'm just chucking points in here uh, because I have nothing left to put it into. So I'm looking forward to. I saw that there's going to be an update very soon, or they're going to be changing the ring skills. I'm looking forward to that. I think that that's going to be some nice, different, new-ish content to explore that will hopefully be impactful. One other note I'd like to make that I realized is if you believe you're going to be uprooted and you create a relocation pad, like okay, I'll get uprooted and then relocate. For some strange reason, the developers have uh, made it such that once you're uprooted, your relocation pad, I don't know if it has to do with it being completed or not, but if it's not completed, it goes away. The tiles that you took to create the relocation pad goes away. It all goes away. And I don't quite understand why they would do that. It seems very counterintuitive to me, but I would just want to call out how incredibly non-intuitive is a nice word to use for it. It's bad. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they would make it this way. But that's going to be my gripe with the developers for today. A lot of the changes that they're making are, I believe, are very good and moving in the right direction and make sense. But that one, it's stupid. Like you're punishing someone for having the ability to have the foresight to know that they're going to get uprooted, create a pad for themselves, and then they get uprooted and their pad gets taken out too without the enemy even doing anything to disrupt the relocation pad. It doesn't make any sense. It's like saying California get takes the same damage as Pennsylvania if someone nuked Pennsylvania, or vice versa. Like what happens in California doesn't impact the physical landscape of Pennsylvania, and vice versa. Why would it be this way in the game? If the enemy's not touching your relocation pad, then the enemy uprooting my base shouldn't impact that. That's a terrible change. I don't know when they implemented that, but I hate it. So I hope that at some point, perhaps through me calling it out or through other players sending feedback to the developers, this is something that we could potentially have changed. I'm sure that I'm not the only person that has felt this frustration. Um, so otherwise, like I said, a lot of the changes that the developers are making to the game seem to be very good and trending in the right direction. I've heard some interesting stuff about the PvE. I haven't had a chance to test that yet, but I should probably get cracking on that, eh? Uh, at any rate, so that's the season right now. In a nutshell, I think that this gives you a lot of information as to what's going on this server. It's a very, very active um, server. It's a spicy server. It's a fun server. I hope everyone on the server is experiencing some level of, not only just, it's a mixed bag of feelings, I think, for everyone fighting. And that's war for you, It's frustrating. It's stressful. It's intense. It's exciting. It's nail biting, nerve wracking. It's great. This is what we play the game for. If you're just in the business here of capturing easy rings, then I think that that has merits of its own, but it's not something that our team strives for. If we end up losing this season, we'll look back at it and say, you know what? At least we had a lot of really good fights and intense battles, and that's what we at Udes really seek season over season is good fights. And I think that this 10v2, believe it or not, is pretty balanced when you look across how many colors are on the map, how many pins are on the map. People aren't giving up. Teams aren't giving up. They're not quitting. They're making adjustments. They're adapting. And they're succeeding in places maybe they didn't expect they would succeed. So, again, I tip my hat to everyone on the server for your guile, your perseverance, your activity, and playing this crazy game, Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So that's going to do it for today. This is my season 16 update. I thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me sit here and ramble for however many minutes I've been sitting here rambling for. We'll do it again in another week or so. So, wishing you all well. Best of luck to the folks on this server the remainder of the way. Love y'all. Take care of yourself. Stay well. Turgon the Wise, signing off. Cheers.